It's a Sunday and I'm out for a country drive, and I was just thinking about eggs. I've been thinking a lot about eggs. I think everyone has. All the eggs, all different sorts of eggs. People in their little golden eggs, women and their eggs that they're trying to use to create life. Chicken eggs. Hey, what about the eggs that we use to manufacture vaccines? What about those vaccines? Kind of let's talk about bird flu and polio. There's a good intersection. Let me tell you what's going on from my perspective, which is just one in millions, with chickens generally, or chickens specifically, and farming generally. You can't put nature in a spreadsheet when you don't bother to count the deposits. When the deposits the soil test is the approximation of a deposit. Biodiversity, if anyone cared about it, that's a deposit. So all that's gone, and the rains have begun, and the winds, and all the weather, and the Atlantic system of water circulation is collapsing because it's so hot out now. They call it the AMOC, A-M-O-C. Amok. The amok is amok. So there's that. But back to the chickens. I don't really think it matters what I think about vaccines, because I don't have children and I don't have to make those decisions. But I will say this. I do have a memory that contains a lot of thoughts around someone that I knew growing up that had polio and bore a limp to prove it. And I thought a lot about that. Being that I was a kid that was kind of into science, like that was very clear to me. Like that stab that I got in my arm when I was a little kid helped to ensure that I wouldn't end up with a limp. And no, it's not a perfect system. That system doesn't exist on this planet. I can't speak for other places, but I'm pretty sure perfection isn't really the direction that the planet is going. What is, though, is increasing biodiversity and equality and variety, novelty, new, but not composed of deadly ingredients. So essentially, we put all these animals are in confined feeding operations, CAFOs, confined animal feeding operations, okay? It's like Lego cows, something like that, right? We're going to treat them like units. This is the way it's going to be. They're going to get this much feed. This is the manure that comes off. Everybody's just blocked in. Same with the chicken thing, right? They're housed, and even if they're free range, it doesn't mean they're outside. It means they have access to a porch where they can look outside. Usually a dirt lot. It varies in size. Whatever. No surprise. Part of the reason they do it that way is because you and I don't pay enough for a chicken. We don't want to pay what it actually costs to raise a fucking chicken. And so we've come up with all these time, space, and labor-saving ways around it. And one of the things that happens when you put thousands of chickens together is that diseases breed. And so the chickens get sneezes, right? Everybody gets the sneezes, pretty much. And so then everybody, how do you find which chicken is sneezing and which is not? How do you keep track of everybody who's sick and not and blah, blah, blah? You can't, because it's like 2,000 chickens. And so you are like, well, maybe if we'll dose the entire herd, right? Well, that turned into, isn't it easier just to do low dose of different antibiotics over time until the antibiotic out-evolves the bug, the sneeze. And so that's what we've done. So it's a breeding ground. So we're breeding all of the diseases to be stronger and more powerful. Okay? Do you get it? Where we got the scale. We got the line and the ledger. So the good thing is it's a cheap chicken. The bad thing is we're creating a bunch of diseases, zoonotic and otherwise, that can, are very costly and deadly, oftentimes. Let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about COVID because it's important. It's important that we know. Well, it would be really nice if we could get to this. We're all going to withhold judgment. We're withholding judgment until we get to the day and time that we will pass judgment on whatever situation it is, right? I'd like to pass judgment right now on what COVID is or was. So the more complex humanity becomes, the more these big human planetary events are going to ripple because we're really close to each other. Like everything's moving really fast. The food's moving fast. The diseases are moving fast. Everything's going really fast. And when it comes to COVID, either way, it's man. It was either man pressing too far into the jungle, trying to tame the jungle and live within it, and being maybe lightly exposed to it. So like now they're a carrier, but they're not showing that they have it. They don't have the disease because all of the diseases for the bats, anyone that lives around bats is probably going to have some like natural immunity a little bit because they've had tiny amounts of it. So however this all happened, however it all went down, we will never know. But it did go down. So should we really be doing gain of function research to poke nature and see how angry she can get, to see how dangerous she can be? Is that a good use of time and money? And that's like where I end up on that. I got somebody in a Cadillac behind me now. I'm going 60 on a country road. Like I was just scooting along, but then I had to speed up because I don't want to piss people off behind me. But I don't really like my ass being ridden either. At any rate. So, there's COVID. Either way, it's us. The problem is us. The problem is how we do not give due diligence imagination, respect, whatever to nature. We just run around thinking, oh, we created all this, we did. We made a mess. We made a huge mess. But we can't fix it. And the time is now. Now. Because the failures have gone on for so long, and it's so bad now that there's no choice. Like, if we don't turn and go the other way really quickly, we're going to be just in a pit of hell, which we already are in some places. You can see it. It's like pock marks, burn scars. Sounds like fun? Think about all those chemicals that went up from that lithium battery plant. And all those chemicals went all over all the farm fields around there, which is quite a few, many of them organic. Driscoll berries with additional heavy metals. So you get the point here. Like, our food system is broken and frail. Our water system is, the whole thing is get it off of the land as quickly as possible. Get it all off. There's no time for it to sink in. It's got to go now. That's how we operate. We don't have to operate that anymore. We don't have to continue to do things that are not in our best interest as a community, as a country, and as a planet. And yeah, we may be moving alone, or we may be feeling that way, but we're not alone. And no matter what you do, whatever it may be, no matter how small an income